Welcome to my video. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm so pleased you came along. Today we're going to talk about this transfer of wealth. What actually happened. This started in, look, it happens regularly through the life of man, but through the life of human beings. But this one has recently started now in March this year, when the coronavirus struck and our markets went haywire and the world went crazy. Governments shut economies down and all sorts of crazy things. I want to talk about 4 areas in which you could be a part of the wealth transfer. This is an opportunity that you don't want to miss. This is an opportunity when poor people can shift from being poor into wealthy and make sure their families for generations to come have a lot of money. Now, it's called a wealth transfer because of all the strange things that happen. The governments are printing money like it's going out of fashion. And what happens when the governments print money? Most of that money is transferred directly to wealthy people, believe it or not, wealthy people. So I'd just like to talk to you about investments. And I'm not an investment advisor. I'm not a consultant. So if you're doing anything serious, then I would recommend that you actually go and speak to an investment advisor in that particular field that you want to invest in. I want to help people understand how it's possible to move through this wealth transfer and come out shining at the other end. Because although the rich get richer, the poor and the middle class get poorer. It's just that clean cut. It really is. Unless you're going to do something, nothing is going to change for you. It's only going to get worse. As we know, millions of people have lost their jobs over the last 6 to 8 months, and it's going to get worse. The knock-on effects of this recession and this coronavirus will be felt for many, many years to come. So the first investment opportunity I'd like to talk about is property. Now, believe it or not, we are all lied to when we're educated and when we're spoken to by financial advisors and bank managers and these guys that tell us that property is a good investment. A property for personal use, for your own home, is not an investment. It's a liability. It's not an asset. So that's rule number one. Understand that buying a home for yourself is not an investment. It'll cost you money for the rest of your life. So it's not an asset. An asset is something that from day one will give you a return on your money every single month. That is an asset. Okay, so that being said, property is a good investment in these times. And why we say that is because with all the job changes and job losses and people going on to half time and all these things, there are millions of people out there that have bought homes and now they can't afford to pay the bond. And the bank will only carry them for so long, and then the banks will repossess these homes. So the banks end up with millions of homes, and they know if those homes stand empty, they will be vandalized, and then therefore the values will drop quickly. So the banks try and get rid of these quickly, and they flood the market with properties for sale at good prices, and the more they put onto the market, the more the prices of these homes will drop. And so we as investors or wannabe investors could pick up beautiful homes at very reasonable prices. The problem obviously is that you need some money or collateral to buy these homes. And as I said, we're not buying the home to live in, we're buying the home to rent it out. But saying that, we could go into a JV or a partnership with friends and family, and we could put our money together so we can buy these homes. But my opinion, of business and partners, it's a very sticky situation. So this investment, although it's great and it's long term, and you could make a lot of money out of it, it's reliant on you having a lot of money to spread around. So we get on to investment number 2, which is a great investment as well. Stock markets, blue chip companies. In these recession times and money printing times, in crazy times, the stock markets are falling, and I believe they're going to fall more. which means you can pick up great shares like Microsoft, Coca-Cola, Sasol, all these blue chip companies, which we know are still going to be around for quite a while, and their stock might have dropped by 80%. So if it was 1,000 Rand, it might be 200 Rand or 400 Rand for a share now. So if you've got quite a lot of capital lying around, now's the time to buy the shares, because it'll rise again back to where its true value is, which might be 1,000. If you bought at 200 and it goes to 1,000, you got an 800% return over 4 or 5 years maybe, and that's fantastic. But in order for that to make a dent or a change in your life, to shift you from where you are, either in poverty or middle class, into the wealthy, you need to have a large sum of money. And as I know, most of us don't have that. So, and of course the risks are there that the company could go bang. It's, to me, is not a great opportunity at this point in time, because we don't have these large sums of money. The third investment I want to talk to you about is gold and silver, and this is real gold and silver, not the mining stocks. So this is gold coins, gold jewelry, silver jewelry, silver coin, and not collector coins. We're not talking about collector coins here. I'm talking about Krugerrands and things like that, okay? And why in these times gold and silver are great investments is because the more paper money they print, the higher the value of gold and silver will go when it crashes. And so gold and silver go up when markets go down. When they're printing a lot of money, inflation rises. There's a guy I follow, and his name is Mike Maloney. And this guy has studied monetary history from the beginning of money. And he has found that every time governments get involved and print money in a country, it creates inflation, and most times hyperinflation. And during these times, gold and silver really increase in value. So let's look at it today. For instance, a Krugerrand, 1 ounce of gold today will cost you $1,948. And let's, for argument's sake, say that's equal to 30,000 Rand. I want to talk in rands so we can all understand each other. 30,000 Rand. So you say, well, 30,000 Rand, I don't have 30,000 Rand. Yes, but you can buy a quarter or a tenth. So you could buy a tenth Krugerrand for 3,000 Rand. But let's stick to the 30,000 Rand for a second while I explain this. So you've got the choice. You've got 30,000 in the bank and you invest it, or you can buy a Krugerrand. So if you invest 30,000 and you want a good return, you're going to put it fixed deposit for 5 years, at least maybe 10 years, right? And if you're lucky in 10 years, if you're lucky with a 10% annual compound, which is not available at the moment, you will double your money over 10 years. And don't forget, every year the inflation on your money will hammer your investment, because the value of money is reduced every year. However, the gold coin will rise in value and will continue to rise in value. If you look at the gold curve since the beginning of time, yes, some years it goes up and down, and some years is lower than last year, but the actual trend from beginning to where it is now has always gone up, which means the gold value will continue to rise. And your 30,000 over the next 5 years will definitely double. The gurus, in fact, are talking about $10,000 an ounce. $10,000 an ounce is more than 350,000 Rand per coin. So your 30,000 Rand coin could go up to 350,000 Rand in value. Now, I know that's not going to take us from poverty to wealth, but it's a start. And then again, as we say, okay, well, now we need to buy 5 or 6 Krugerrands to make real difference, right? Of course. And therefore, although this is a great investment and less risky than the others, it's still a little bit out of reach for most people. Let's be clear about one thing. All investments have risk. Our life is risky. You get up, you cross the road, it's risky. You send your children to school, it's risky. You go to a dinner in a restaurant, it's risky. Life is risky. You're not going to get out alive. So to enjoy life, we have to take risk and opportunity if we want to shift You have to look for opportunity. And I know there's lots of scams out there, but you have to wade through all the junk to find the diamonds. And it's the only way you're going to shift yourself from where you are into middle class or wealth. So we come to the fourth investment opportunity that I'm going to talk about. And this is the one that can really help many, many people because it's such a low initial investment. And this investment only came about 10 years ago when crypto was created. And I'm talking really about Bitcoin specifically. Now I know what you're thinking, that's crazy. I don't have enough money to invest in a Bitcoin because a Bitcoin's running at $10,000 a Bitcoin, right? But that's not a problem. Bitcoin, in fact, you can buy in such small divisions that you could spend 500 Rand and have a Bitcoin investment. And Bitcoin in itself is like the stock market. It moves up and down and it rises and falls on a daily basis. And the guys are talking about Bitcoin reaching $50,000 a coin. So there's good upside here. And I believe it too, because the more money they print, the more people will start looking at other investments and they will focus on cryptocurrencies. The company that we invest in this Bitcoin is a company that trades on the stock market. And what they do is, so besides the upside of the Bitcoin, so as we said, if you invest in gold, you invest 1,000 Rand in gold, and basically you've got to wait for it to rise in value to 5,000 Rand. When you sell it, you get 5,000. That may take 5 years. What this company does is they take your Bitcoin and invest it every single day into the Forex market. And they play the Forex market with your coin. And on an average day, they are hitting 0.5, 0.4, 0.5% increase. So after one day's trade, your Bitcoin has gone from 1 Bitcoin, or let's say we had 100 Bitcoin, 100, I'm just making it round figures so we can all understand, 100 Bitcoin, and they gave you a 0.5% for the day. You're going to have 100.5 Bitcoin, okay? And the next day they trade with you 100.5, and the following day you have 101 Bitcoin. So although the Bitcoin value will still increase over time, you are continuously increasing the amount. They are continuously increasing the amount of Bitcoin you have invested because it's a compounding effect. The minimum investment is $100, which is around 2,000 Rand. Now I know what you're saying. 2,000 Rand is a lot for some people. Yes, of course it is. We've got some very poor people in our country. But we could say, well, let me get 4 members of my family to join this with me, and we each put in 500 Rand. If that's still too much, you could say, well, let me get 10 people that I know to invest with me, and we each invest 100 Rand. So this investment is truly real, and the risk is, if there's 10 people involved, they each lose 100 Rand. Yes, it's 100 Rand, but it's not your whole life savings. This is the beauty of it. You can get in with a very low investment. Now, as I said, it compounds. So if we took the 2,000 Rand investment, which is $100, in 1 year, your money will double. You will have $200, which will be from 2,000 Rand to 4,000 Rand in 1 year. Now, I don't know any other investment that does that. And they might be out there, but it would mean you would have to go and look for them to find them. There are a lot of scams out there, people. You need to do your research. Be careful. I love this investment. I've been involved for about 2 or 3 months now, and I've seen great returns, and there are other bonuses and stuff. If you would like to hear more about this, please click on the link below the video and book a time with me, and I will phone you back and we can discuss it. Thank you very much for your time. See you soon. Bye-bye.